You guys, I ran out of tea. I'm so sad. My teacup is empty because I ran out of tea, so I don't have tea. So sad. So sad. It's a sad situation. Anyway, I've seen things are going on in Gaza. Honestly, I've been busy working on my project, so I haven't really been checking the news too much. Yeah. Yeah, I hope you guys, here's the thing, here's what needs to happen, okay? We need the media together, all of us, to make sure that we mock Trump as much as possible. And I don't say it from a bad place. I know that he made a deal with Egypt and Turkey to set a base for Turkey, especially in Gaza, so that Turkey could attack Israel in a much more effective way from the north and the south, way better than Iran ever could. And even though it's a beautiful deal, right, that Trump had concocted with his friends, Erdogan and Sisi. With Sisi, I don't know how relevant that it is. He is, but yeah, um, of of course, for the Turks to come, it's uncomfortable if Hamas is there. So there is that thing as well that I guess it is in their interest for Hamas to be gone, but yeah, so anyway, Hamas is attacking the soldiers in Israel as one could expect. But what needs to be happening now is that Trump would be like mocked as much as possible so that Hamas would have to be obliterated. But once it is happening, all the deal, right, all the other points are annulled, and then we don't have to give Turkey the ability to conduct a way worse terror attack out of Gaza, the way that gang had been planning to do, because they're all a bunch of a-holes and don't believe anyone else who says anything else. Anyway, luckily Trump, Baruch Hashem, I don't know how much of what drives him too much, but I think, one of them is, well, if everybody just say the truth about, hey, why is Hamas still there? And then Trump wouldn't be able to pretend that it's not an issue, and then we can annul that idiotic agreement. All right, thank you so much. And now, yeah, Qatar, don't let Qatar pull the strings. This is what I say. Why do I think that about Trump? Because every minute Qatar is still a thing. As far as I'm concerned, Trump is kind of gay. So, those are my standards. Take it or leave it. And I don't want to insult gay people because I know it's not like all gay people are like weak, just like not all women are gay, like weak either. But, like, I don't know. I mean, gays like Jolie, maybe, unassuming, flickering, how you say that, like, when you freckle, flockle, I don't know, whatever. Okay. Yes. So let's talk about Tommy, which I love, which is a way more funny, way more fun, and also, actually, have you guys? I think I watched most of the live, if not all of it, yesterday when Toby Robinson had his massive live event. And it's not that I watched it actively, but I had it like on the background so that I could find the best things to react to. And I really want to show you some of the conversations that were happening there in the end, especially with the Israelis and other things like that. So, yeah. So, okay. So let's start with a little bit of fun stuff. Tommy in Israel is so cute. It is so beautiful. Like, it's such a cute thing. I think, okay. So I think we went. What was the last thing that we watched 2 days ago? Obviously, okay, Friday I wasn't here, so there is so much actually. Wow. Wait, how much did it publish ever? What was the last things we saw? What was it? When was it? When was I live? Wait, 2 days ago? No way, I was live. Oh my god, there's so much fun stuff to see. Oh my god, I love it. I love it so much. Okay. Okay, let's watch the fun stuff and kind of. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, with all due respects, to the horrors of October 7th. I am way more horrified of what the Turks could do if they take over Gaza. So I just don't want to think about it right now. So yes, let's just watch the fun stuff. Because Tommy is, oh yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. Okay, so I don't need to like give you excuses on why I'm skipping the depressing stuff and going straight to the fun stuff that Tommy had. I mean, fun as far as I'm concerned. So just for the record. White Kendallberg, thank you so much for support. Trump is not political. He follows whatever is whispering, whoever is whispering in his ear. We need better people whispering in his ear. I mean, yeah, I guess. So let's see. All right, let's start with is the
This is a
one of
small.
the best things, and why I love tea so much is like when you smear like British prime ministers, for example, maybe a Tutil, for example. It's very nice to drink tea when you do so, just because, yeah, you know, respecting for the tea, for the tea. I like tea, but I ran out of tea. Sorry, guys. I'm just, this is me without tea, you see. It's a very weird situation, and I'm very sorry you have to witness that. It's very dangerous when I run out of tea. I don't know what kind of personality, what kind of monster would come out of me, what kind of unhappy, grumpy person comes out. All right.
This is a small case that is just the beginning for a far more problematic era in Britain, in which England won't be a democracy anymore. It won't be an open space for every.
I love that he says it like in the future tense. It won't be. Like, it won't be a democracy anymore. It won't be an open space where people can talk. Like, it's a future thing. Like there, like no Jews are arrested. Like, if it's not like you're gonna get arrested if you walk with a Star of David on you when they're walking down the street. No. It is a. It will be. It will happen. Okay.
Civilization.
Minister Chickley, there's been some developing news yesterday coming out of the UK that Tel Aviv's football supporters are banned from coming to the Aston Villa game in the city of Birmingham, and I believe this has been driven and led by a Muslim MP called Mr. Khan. What's your opinion of this as a government minister from Israel?
So first, it's very troubling to see what's going on in the UK regarding with the Jews, the terror attack in Manchester, and now the racist decision to ban Jews from attending a soccer match in Birmingham. And actually, I'm not very surprised. And also, we know that Birmingham specifically is dominated by Muslim politicians. And when you look fast forward, what is the future for Britain? Birmingham is the case, and this match of Maccabi and Aston Villa for what's coming in the future. And if that is the future of Great Britain, of England, it means that it is far, far more than just Maccabi Tel Aviv fans, and it is far, far more than just the Jewish community. We're speaking about the basic liberties in England.
By the way, everything he's saying, I think, already applies for the working class in Britain. Here's what, from traveling, from, walking around Britain, like looking around Britain, I don't know, frolicking, that's the word, I think. Anyway, around Britain, I realized that there are, in Britain, there are like the citizens and people like that are the citizens, and then there are the working class, and it's I don't know, it's just something different. I don't know if they count. When talk about democracy and things like that, like, I don't know if they count them in that, actually, to be honest. But they're fun people. Fun people.
About freedom. And when we're speaking about Sharia law and when we're speaking about racism, that's exactly what it is. And I think that this is a small case that is just the beginning for a far more a problematic era in Britain in which England won't be a democracy anymore. It won't be an open space for every civilization to come, to play, to do sport, etc. And so it's, I think it's a very bad. And the worst thing is you have members of parliament who are encouraging this racist decision, and these guys, they don't hide their
Yeah, like standing and supporting cousin marriage. Is it racist decision? I think it's racist.
support for Hamas and all these jihadist organizations, and they are very clear with their motives. Their motives is a racist. I would even say, you can say, Islamo-Nazi ideology that is taking racist Nazi ideology with radical Islam, and we have it since the days of the Mufti. It's not something new. This is the core ideology of Hamas, and these Islamo-Nazis are now in a position of powers, and maybe it's a very tough term, yeah, Islamo-Nazi.
Not really.
But that
You know what I thought? Just like a thought I just had right now. First of all, like Islam predates Nazism, so why do we use the term Islamo-Nazi and not so Islamic, right? So it's like Nazism, like it's like the Islamic thing, right? To explain how bad Nazism is, like you say not so Islamic, to explain to people how bad Nazism is, right? Like Islam predates Nazism and they killed way more, so I think they should get that respect. So it shouldn't be Islamo-Nazism. It needs to be not so Islam, to explain how bad Nazism is, that it's almost comparable to Islam. And second of all, that I thought, which is so random, but you know, this is what happens when I don't have my tea with me. And that is like if I were, let's say, a Nazi, right? Like, I don't know if like blonde, blue-eyed people is the standard that I would decide how to racially classify people as. Like, I think they went about it completely wrong. I don't think being blonde and blue-eyed is that important. I don't know why they thought it's that, or being white, honestly. So I think that if I could go back and say something, hey, you guys, you know what? Like, how about instead of this blonde weird thing, which I have to say, like, blonde doesn't equate better always, right? A lot of times, like, anyway, so how about just pretty people? Like, let the pretty people survive and eliminate everyone else. Like, what is the blonde thing? I don't get it. Now, see, this is what the kind of thoughts I have when I run out of tea. Just like, why blonde instead of pretty? Just prefer pretty people instead of blonde. I don't get that.
is the true nature of this ideology. Racist ideology, like the Nazis against the Jews, with an intention to annihilate the Jews, and also a radical Islam religious point of view. That's Islamo-Nazism, and Islamo-Nazism today in Britain is super popular, unfortunately.
And can we just make it very clear? The reason why they've said the fans can't attend is because the city would not be safe for them?
Yeah, that's a ridiculous claim that, we just want, that's...
I mean, let's be honest, I think it's probably true. It's probably they're gonna try to have a pogrom like in Amsterdam. Those idiots.
That's the sophistication of Islamo-Nazism today, saying, oh, no, we do it because of peace. We want to keep everything quiet.
I thought it was pretty clear. Oh, so, okay, so this is what they were saying, like they want peace. I thought the message was, if you come, we'll kill you. But maybe something is wrong with my hearing. I heard, if you come, we kill you. And I thought, like, okay, we all understand what they're saying. If you come, we kill you. But apparently they said something about being peace. What?
So let's just ban the Jews
right now.
that they couldn't come and couldn't be in the match. They couldn't enter the city. and that's how we can we can resolve anything. And I think that's like the more sophisticated approach of these people today. They know the game. They take the rule of the democracy. They take the language of modern Western civilization, and they weaponize the Western set of values and language to promote their ideology. You can see it perfectly with Kerry in the US, and what's happening in Michigan, Dearborn, Michigan, or Birmingham, and Dearborn in the US and Birmingham in the UK is the picture of the future if we do not act now to save Western civilization.
Do you ever think because there'd be a city where they'd say Muslims can't come, because basically they're saying Jews can't come to Birmingham because they won't be safe. It's 2025. Could you imagine the uproar if we reverse the roles? Because I haven't seen much uproar. I haven't seen a very strong response from our government leaders. Have you heard?
I don't know, like, at what point do we start like shifting the conversation to so what do we do about those proud not so Islamists that walk around?
Heard anything from Keir Starmer on this?
Yeah, he said that he think it's a wrong decision. Actually, he's the prime minister, so you can do an actual thing and make sure the match can go on, and Jewish fans can join and play and come and enjoy sport. And unfortunately, Keir Starmer, and we've talked about it yesterday, is extremely weak, and this weakness is an extreme danger for the liberties of not just the Jews, for random UK citizen who love their country and love their state, and they are not free anymore, because if you can have a soccer match and host anyone you like from Israel or for any other place,
because
it's
you
not
can't,
a free country.
because you can't control the violent
Oh
reaction.
my God, Amichai Shikli just realized that the UK is not a free country. Oh my God, I love it. I love it when I say something in the beginning of the video, and like the joke I make, like the points of criticism I had in the beginning of the video, when I said, like, Amichai, why are you saying will not be a free country? Right? And I was joking. I was like, what do you mean will? Like it's in the future. Yeah, if you can talk about is, was for a while, but now we can see that the language fits the reality on the ground.
And if you need the military to police the violent reaction of the Islamic community, then bring the military in and host a football game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank
Hey, that was fun. It's fun. It's fun to see like Israeli politicians talking in outside of Israeli channels and like getting to express themselves. I don't know anywhere else where the people would give them the stage to do that. Is it just me? Okay, people here that watch mainstream media or media, you know what? Media, general media outside of Israel. Did you ever see something like that? Like, did you ever see a journalist, anyone who would cover Israel like that, who would actually meet people, talk to people, understand the ground, understand everything that's happening? By the way, you should see how much love he got here. Right? Not really. It just doesn't happen, right? They don't cover it at all. Like, do people outside of it, like there is no one that gives people the chance to express themselves. Yeah, journalists never do that except Coleman Hugh. Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's it. Wow. Like I cannot even start expressing like how you know when you see something that you didn't know to describe exactly what's missing, and then you see something and you're like, oh, this is what I was looking for. This is what I was looking for.
Minister Chikli, can I just ask you where?
Here. So this is Machne Yehuda, which is fun. It's where I like buying candy sometimes. I bet they also have tea because I'm out of tea.
Minister Chikli, can I just ask you, where are we?
So we are in Machne Yehuda. It's the market. Friday, everyone coming for Shabbat to buy food. Also, to enjoy, drink coffee, falafel, shawarma. There's also a very nice overnight night scene in the market with pubs, and it's a very, very nice place. And you can see.
I remember when Ridvan was here, when AP was here, Apostate Prophet. So I took him to Machne Yehuda one night, because I was like, have you been there? And he was like, no, I don't think so. So I was like, okay, you have to go. And we went. And the bars were open. People were like dancing, having fun and stuff. And he was so depressed when he was here. Like he went to the seventh, he went to all the places, and it really affected him. And he was like, wow, it's like so hard to watch. And then of course I asked him, like, if you're already in the mood, how about we go to Yad Vashem, the Holocaust Museum, if you're already in the mood. And he said, like, I don't think I can handle it. But yeah. So I took him at night I took him to the Machne Yehuda to look at happy people. But he wasn't too happy. He was kind of depressed, actually, from seeing and everything. And I told him, listen, as a Jew, you get to see those things from a very young age. So you're going to get trained to just, like, see a Holocaust museum during the day. And then at night, you go party. It's just the norm. Because you do it since you're, like, 3 years old. But... yeah, apparently it's not the norm in the rest of the world. So he was pretty shocked. And I think part of it was also the fact that he was like, I cannot believe that I was part of the group that advocated and really wanted to see Jews suffer. So I guess that is depressing in that sense.
Variety of people, religious, secular, ultra-Orthodox, everyone just coming, enjoying. Very nice.
As we walked past that lady, she was... Can I ask what he said?
Yeah, he said, congrats and bravo and thank you for what you're doing. Relatively, Jerusalem is more leaning to the right than Tel Aviv.
What did that lady say a minute ago?
The same.
Also, how many journalists even bother asking the people of Jerusalem, which is not only the capital of Israel, it's also the biggest city in Israel, the most populous city in Israel, and even if you only take the Jews into account, it is still the biggest city in Israel. So Jerusalem, only the Jews are greater in number than the number of residents that live in Tel Aviv. But for some reason, nobody that comes to Israel thinks that maybe to understand what people really think in Israel, it's not Tel Aviv or only Tel Aviv that you need to ask people in the streets what they think, because this is where you're going to find all the, mostly, even though they exist in Jerusalem as well, and like vice versa. So like nobody like, oh, how about I go to Jerusalem as well to see what people think there, and how people, what's their opinion on stuff. Because so many just look at that one part of the population, and they don't even bother going to ask people in the literal capital city and the biggest Jewish city in Israel what they think.
There's a guy here with many sweets. My children, they love it.
The sweet one at the end on the left?
Yeah.
I saw it.
That's the halva also.
Okay. I saw the one at the left with all the sweets, so it's quite, I love it. This is where last time I was here I had a t-shirt made with Donald Trump and it said "fuck ISIS" in 2016 because Trump had just got elected. How important was it when Donald Trump moved and recognised this as a capital?
That was super important because it gave Jerusalem its honor that it's needed and the place it's needed. And unfortunately, for many, many years, despite the fact that President says we're going to put the embassy in Jerusalem and acknowledgement the fact that the old city of Jerusalem, the city of David, is the core of our homeland, as you saw in your eyes today.
By the way, probably that's a big reason on why they don't bother asking the residents of Jerusalem anything. Because if they're gonna ask, and literally the biggest concentration of Jews in a city in Israel, that is Jerusalem, if they're gonna go there, they might acknowledge that maybe Jews have something to do with Judea. Like, who would have thought? Who would have thought? Like, and I think that is unbearable, unspeakable. And also, they're probably gonna hear the things that maybe they don't want to hear so much.
So that was, I think that what Trump did was to acknowledge King's David rule. So that's the importance, and realize the truth, the simple truth about Jerusalem.
Okay. Yeah, we know, we're trying.
Get all the garbage over us.
I know, man.
We go to the respective.
They're saying that in England you get all the garbage, and they come to England, but they said you can't coexist with that. They're on about the Islamic garbage.
Yeah, you see,
Very good. Number
this
one.
is the kind of answer that you get in Jerusalem. What do you think about the situation in UK? In Tel Aviv, it will be like, in Jerusalem, it's like, oh, you should need to throw that Islamic garbage to where it belongs, the trash. Amazing, beautiful. I kind of want to go back and hear that again because I kind of missed out on who said it.
Realize the truth.
I guess he just, like he said it, like he whispered it in his ear, but yeah.
Simple truth about Jerusalem.
Okay. Yeah, we know, we're trying.
Get all the garbage over us.
I know, man.
We go to the respective.
They're saying that in England you get all the garbage, and they come to England, but they said you can't coexist with that. They're on about the Islamic garbage. This is really good.
Very good. Number one.
Okay.
This is Bibi. This is this.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
It's also fun one. Rivka, my life. Is Haifa is far left as Tel Aviv? Actually, Haifa might be more far left than Tel Aviv. It might. Okay, so I think on average it is more left than Tel Aviv. So believe it or not, like Tel Aviv is still has a good number of right-leaning people, but I also think like they probably get like the most left-leaning people as well. So Haifa is more left-leaning than Tel Aviv.
Trump, Bibi, this. לב. Very good. אוהב, מחייך, מקבל, מחבק. זה.
Strong.
זה עם ישראל אוהב, רק לעזור. מי שלא עוזר, לך הביתה.
Say the most important thing, speak to the people in the streets.
Yeah.
And it is very important just to speak with the people and to understand what they're thinking, despite the fact, as I mentioned before, different cities, different views. Jerusalem and Tel Aviv are different, okay? And I love both, but home is Jerusalem. And
You're receiving a fabulous reception on the streets. As I said, I can't think of a single British politician that could walk through the streets of the UK and receive any good reception.
We love you.
תודה נסיך, אחי. וכמובן שאנחנו...
It's great to see the government minister receiving such a great reception. Could you think of any British government minister in power now for the Labour Party who could walk through an open market in any city and receive a hero's reception? Could you think of one? None. They're hated. They're loved. There's a big difference.
You represent the working class, and this place is one of the symbols of a working class restaurant in Jerusalem. Azura, an ancient family business. You have behind you the family, etc. It's a very nice place. Really authentic food, super delicious.
Again, I'm going to ask you, can you think of a British politician that would specifically go to a working class restaurant and celebrate the working class? They look down their noses upon us. This is a government minister who's coming to a working class restaurant to celebrate the fact of how...
Yeah, I think until you go to the UK, you don't understand like how much classism is part of the culture. Where it's like, if you don't have the right accent, it's like people are not going to listen to what you have to say. Like, I saw it 100%. Like, I felt it when I was there. And I didn't like, it's so easy to brush it aside and say like, it can't be that bad, but it's really that bad. So.
How working class it is in the history of it. It's the total opposite for us in the UK. And you know what, from my own experience, because the border deputies say I'm not welcome, they make all these comments, I've come under a lot of attack, I've been shown nothing but love. since the minute I stepped off the plane in Israel. From the people. Nothing but love.
Greatly for Israel.
Thank you, bro.
We support you.
Thank
we
you.
love you.
Thank
we
you.
love you.
Thank you very much.
Keep on. Keep on.
Yeah, I'm very well. No, I'm very well, man.
you so much.
I'm having a great time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm honoured to
Looking
be
after
here.
you. That's good. That's good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep doing amazing work, brother. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
It's great to have you.
Here's another plus that you can get by going to Jerusalem or other areas that are not Tel Aviv, is that you're gonna see people that are Orthodox Jews in their natural environment, in a natural behavior. So in a lot of times what you see from the Orthodox community is their behavior when they feel like they need to protect themselves or be unsafe, right? Or are unsafe. And most people don't, it's like a both ways thing, right? So outside of Israel, like if you approach somebody who's an Orthodox Jew, I think most of the time there is a little bit of assumption that it's not good-hearted. And then the other side of it is that people don't want to know them too much, or I mean, they look different. But when Tommy Robinson gets to walk down the street in the market of Jerusalem, then you can see the whole spectrum of Judaism, from the most ultra-Orthodox to the most secular, right? Coming and showing appreciation and love and everything like that. Like you can see and also if you go out at night, right? You said like there are pubs and parties, you're gonna see the whole spectrum partying as well. So you're gonna see religious or ultra-Orthodox Jews going out and partying, and to the most secular in Jerusalem, which is a very nice mix, which is lost when you ignore that city, because it's uncomfortable politically to admit that it exists, I guess, for many in the West. But I feel like, correct me, everything I'm saying, it's my own impression. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm just so happy that Orthodox Jews get a platform to show who they are with a Christian non-Jew that they appreciate and love in their natural environment, in a place that they can feel comfortable, and they get to show how they actually behave in real life, right? Like, this is how they are. They're good people. They're fun people. They love partying. They love going out. They love doing everything. They just have their own some rules and Jewish laws that they follow, but they're fun-loving, outgoing people. And I am so happy that Tommy, that by coming to Israel, I don't know why I feel like it's missing. It was missing. It was not. I feel like this is the thing that I saw, right, when I took him to Machne Yehuda to party at night. It was like, oh my God, like, or a lot of other tourists that I got to show Jerusalem and go out at night with them, right? And they're like, wow, it's like I didn't know ultra-Orthodox people are like that. I was like, yeah, well, it's very hard to see how they are if you're not a Jew in their natural environment, when they feel comfortable, when they really can show who they are, what they are, and who they are, right? So if you are outside of Israel as a Jew, I have access to all those moments. But if you come and visit Israel, then even as a non-Jew, you're going to have access to it.
It's amazing to have the support, and thank you for everything.
Thank you very much.
It's amazing.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I'm from Manchester.
You're from Manchester.
I live here.
When did you move here?
I moved here 10 years ago. I moved around the whole country. I've lived in many different places, and it's just so important to have support from everyone around the world. And there's so much negativity.
Thank you, bro.
And we need the positivity at the same time. So
Thank you, bro. I've had a great time so far, man.
We love you. We're Londoners.
You're Londoners.
We're Londoners, and we love you.
Have you moved here? Do you live here now?
No, we just came for a visit.
Oh, you come for a visit.
We live in Edgewood.
Okay.
Don't give up.
Oh, won't work.
Don't give up. We not give up. Don't give up.
I don't even know if inside of London, if he would have that kind of access to Londoners, Orthodox Londoners, And if like he's like getting to talk to Londoner Jews and English Jews for real in Israel. He's like, it's possible here.
You're a legend. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you very much for everything you're doing. It's very important for the creation and the longevity of the Jewish state. Thank you very much. שיקלי, תודה שהזמנת אותו. תודה רבה.
They're singing the British national anthem.
English, it's a Muslim country. You lose it. That's it.
He says it's over.
You need to wake up, you know.
England's a Muslim
Israel,
country.
That's the light. And you want to turn the light, you're going to be in the dark. You know?
Like this kind of a Jewish guy getting a stage to talk. That's amazing. I like, you know, that's the classical like and yet he gets a stage to talk because Tommy Robinson actually facilitated like a platform for it. I cannot not appreciate and admire that. I think by him going around and doing all those things, he shows everyone what journalism that is driven out of curiosity, what kind of places and what kind of unexpected, where it can take you to.
Wake up. We want good. We don't want bad.
England's a Muslim country, he says.
Yes, ma.
Who
Who is the mayor of London? 9 city, you have Muslim mayor, you know. Wake up.
You want to hold the mic?
You can't hold the flag of England.
Here, Sammy, you can hold it. You can hold the mic. You want to hold the mic?
You want the mic done?
Here. Let me switch to the, I don't even know. 1 second. Hello. So I guess there is one question that was repeated twice. Thank you, no one. It sounds funny. Thank you, no one. Hey, Rebecca, why is Jerusalem so underdeveloped compared to West Jerusalem? I don't think the line East and West is that easy. There are places in East Jerusalem which are very, very pretty. Maybe you think specifically of Shafat or something like that. It's because the residents there don't really pay taxes. So, and they litter. So this is why it's underdeveloped. So I don't understand the question so much. Yeah. I'm not even sure it's true, honestly. Like, yeah, I'm not sure. All right. This is also a beautiful
It's the
video.
largest
The city of David. Look, listen closely, because by giving a person an opportunity to speak, he exposed how evil the UN is more than any other. Like, amazing.
It's the largest active excavation going on here in Jerusalem, finding treasures, golden treasures, going back to the Byzantine period. About 1,400 years ago, you have seals with names and figures from the Bible going back 2,500 years ago. Jerusalem is a mixed city. It's
I know you have the Arab quarter, you have the Christian quarter, you have the Jewish quarter.
but even outside the old city, since the mid 1800s, you have a clear Jewish majority in Jerusalem, with obviously a growing Muslim
I'm not
minority
sure
as well.
about what is said about like the Jewish majority, but throughout history, almost at every given point in time, Jerusalem was majority Jewish, except for maybe like a decade or two after an expulsion. So there were several expulsions of Jews out of Jerusalem. And if you went to Jerusalem right after those moments, then Jews would not be there. But for most of history, any given time, any given century, it was majority Jewish.
But it's for time immemorial, this has been a place that's had, whether it's Christians, Jews, Muslims, people want to be in Jerusalem. But the only reason today that people of all faiths and backgrounds are actually able to go to their holy places in Jerusalem is because for nearly the last 70 years, this whole area has been under Israeli sovereignty. For much of the last 2,000 years, you did not have freedom of access, freedom of worship to all these places. You look around the Middle East today, Christians are being driven out of any Middle Eastern countries where they still are. They're being driven out of. They don't have freedom of worship, freedom of access to their holy places.
I always ask this question. So if Hamas or the Palestinian Authority were in
Yeah, like in Britain, the Islamic country, and Christians don't have the freedom of worship, and churches are getting burnt all over the country, and people who pray get arrested. If they pray in a Christian manner, they get arrested. That is outside of a designated Jewish majority or areas where you can do that without worry. But so like in Islamic countries, for example, like UK, the Christians are persecuted, and it's also true to other Islamic countries, like all over the Middle East.
control of Jerusalem, do we really think that Christians would be able to visit these sites?
We already know, because if you look around the Middle East, the destruction of holy places, even Islamic holy places of other sects of Islam, not to mention Christian holy places. You look in the destruction you have in Syria of ancient churches and temples. You have what the Taliban did to the Bumayyad statues a number of decades ago. You have the destruction of the Temple Mount in the late 90s carried out by the Islamic Waqf, destroying ancient antiquities on the Temple Mount. So we know exactly what would happen, which would be the destruction of sites that have significance to Jews, to Christians around the world. The reason that those sites are open today and standing today and accessible today, regardless of a person's faith, is because Israel's here. That Israel's ensuring the freedom of worship, freedom of access to people of all.
But also because most of it was buried under the sand, so the Muslims that took over didn't know what to blow up to make sure there is no evidence that this place was Jewish. And because we live in a rather desert-y area, the sand covers up things pretty fastly. So a lot of the excavation only happened after the Jews had sovereignty. And in the West Bank, all those things that were uncovered or before, a lot of them got ruined and destroyed by the Jordanians, because the thing that they do is to try to erase any trace of everything that was there before, right? They erase it, claim it, and use it in accordance to what works for them at the moment, right? The history that they use is the history that works for the momentary gain that they're trying to achieve. So, of course, they build on top, and then back then I think they looked at the fact that the Jewish, like the walls and everything, they're still standing. They looked at it like more as a feature than a bug, because they were like, okay, that shows our dominance and superiority, and the fact that we defeated Christianity and Islam and Judaism, Christianity and Judaism. And but now they would blow everything up because it's not worth the risk.
Faiths and backgrounds to come and connect with their holy places. If you believe that there was a historic Jesus 2,000 years ago, he was Jewish. He went with all the Jews down to cleanse the Pool of Siloam at the southern end of the city of David. He would have then walked up from the pool, along the pilgrimage road through the city of David, up to the Temple Mount. The Pool of Siloam that we're excavating in the city of David as we speak is 100% the same pool from 2,000 years ago.
Can we see the pool?
We're going to see it. Same pilgrimage road, same city of David, same Temple Mount. Not simply a matter of faith, but a matter of fact. What we're walking on right now is easily the most hallowed half mile anywhere in the world. There is no half mile.
The most what? Hallowed? What do you mean?
Hallowed, holy, significant.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Most significant half mile anywhere in the world. For billions, not for millions. And you can see as we walk down here, there would have been shops and stalls that lined the pilgrimage road.
Yeah, look, what, all along here?
Yeah, this is like the main shopping corridor. One is not enough, but there's another challenge, which is there's a law that both Hamas and the Palestinian Authority have, which is even in Jerusalem, if a Muslim sells their property to a non-Muslim, you're going to get one of two punishments: death or life imprisonment.
Well, that's a punishment now for.
So, by the way, they started by the Mufti of Jerusalem, and the reason, okay, so the official reason to do that is because we don't sell our Islamic property to the filthy Jews. But just so you know, the Mufti of Jerusalem, the Nazi sympathizer, and his gang, right, and all the people who led the big Arab revolt, what they did is that because there were no buyers for the property that was not allowed to be sold to Jews, they would get that property at a very low price, and then they would themselves sell it to the Jews to make money. Yeah.
Muslim living.
But now because they have a better sources of income, which is basically robbing the West and using their kindness to whatever to get money out of them. They get to get both, right? So they have a policy of kill those who sell property to Jews, and at the same time they still get the money because the West is very, very happy to give them everything they want.
In this area.
Even in this area, if you go and you sell your home to a non-Muslim, you're gonna have big problems. So that means if someone living here, they say, you know what, we want to sell our home, right? Legally, willingly. So they say, okay, we're gonna go to a real estate agent and we're gonna market our home, and then whoever gives us the best offer, we're gonna sell it to.
They can't do that.
They can't do that, right?
Only Muslims can buy.
And it's 2025. It's crazy that you're gonna say that real estate is gonna be based on race. That if you're a Muslim here, you can't sell to a Christian, to a Jew, to whoever.
And who enforces that? Hamas and the Palestinian Authority.
Yeah. To this
and
day.
if you're Jewish here and you're selling your property.
By the way, a lot of homes had an engravings of Jewish symbols on them, and sometimes the people who were the family that resided there was actually descendants of Jews that were forced converted to Islam. But they still had those decorations like on the house, and a lot of houses in all over, like Ancient homes in all over the West Bank and everything, they had that symbolism. But once they realized, and once Judaism came back, they removed it. So they scraped it off the walls and of ancient stuff, and to remove evidence that this was a Jewish house and things like that.
Whoever you want.
You can sell to whoever you want.
Yeah.
I thought we hear that it's the Jews in Israel who are having an apartheid state.
It's the worst thing you could be in Palestinian society. The worst crime you could be guilty of is what they call being a collaborator.
Which is what you execute for, which is what they're doing now in Gaza.
Which is exactly, if you in any way are...
By the way, most of the time it's just a way to excuse random executions. The people that they kill as collaborators are rarely are collaborators, but once you give them that kind of name, like Islamophobe or collaborators, then they get executed socially in England, physically in Islamic countries, but probably physically in England too, but it's gonna maybe swept under the rug, maybe not. It's going to get there. It's going to go there.
Perceived as having some type of positive ties, helpful ties with Israel or Jews, that's the biggest crime in Palestinian society today. And so the idea that you would sell a home in Jerusalem to a non-Muslim, that's a crime, right? 2025. And here's an interesting thing. If we go back to the 1920s, you have a body called the Supreme Muslim Council, right? So here's a booklet, 1930. Supreme Muslim Council puts out a brief guide to the Al-Haram al-Sharif, referring to the Temple Mount. That's published in English. Now, why would the Supreme Muslim Council publish a booklet in English in 1930 about the Temple Mount? Who is meant to read this book? The British, who were stationed in this country at the time. So now the question is, in 1930, what does the Supreme Muslim Council want British people who are stationed here to know about the Temple Mount? Well, it's quite interesting. It says, its identity with the site of Solomon's temple is beyond dispute. This too is the spot, according to universal belief, on which, quote, David built an altar unto the Lord and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings. So in 1930, the Supreme Muslim Council says there was a David, There was a Solomon. There was a temple atop the Temple Mount. Beyond dispute, universal belief, and they quote the Bible. Now, it's a long time ago, 1930.
Why would they do that?
Why would they do that? Because it's true, right? And so 1930, they were just, it was a history book.
Okay, they
right?
weren't on their jihad then.
So what happened after 1948?
Once it's
So
formation,
then
it
It's true, and they also were collaborating with the Europeans. So because they were collaborating with the Europeans, it would have alienated people who would want to collaborate with the Muslims who are not as familiar with their culture if the Muslims went ahead and said that, oh no, there is no Jewish or Christian history in this area, right? So that is also part of it. They published it in English, and it is also part of it. This is also a way to present a front saying, hey, here's what it is like, and we did such a good job. They almost ruined it, honestly. Like, they didn't preserve those areas at all, but whatever. Technicalities. They don't preserve those areas. They neglected them completely. But you also need to understand that basic thinking of, if we need people to work with us, you cannot you cannot trigger them or make them feel suspicious of you by by saying something else. So is it true? They didn't care if it's true or not. They never care. They don't care now, and they didn't care back then. What they knew is that it is beneficiary for them to present it that way at the time, and now it's beneficiary to them to claim that they never claimed that.
then they have to change.
Right, so now what happens? So now they put out new versions of the booklet. And here's one of the most modern versions of this booklet. Al-Aqsa Mosque, Clarifications for Misconceptions. Now, what are the misconceptions? Maybe you read the earlier version. So they clarify it very quickly. Dome of the Rock, and not the Holy of Holies. The Al-Burak Wall, and not the Wailing Wall. Not the Western Wall. The Al-Aqsa Mosque.
I love it because it dates earlier than Islam itself. This is how ridiculous that is. You're saying that it's built on layers. So there is the bricks on the bottom part are older, then it's newer, and then the upper part is the newest. The part that is visible at the bottom is older than Islam itself, which is funny. It's not this wall, it's that wall. Well, what was the name of the wall before Islam was invented by the devil in the desert?
Not the temple.
The Al-Aqsa Mosque has been built on top of the temple.
Right, so what was less than a century ago, beyond dispute, universal belief, is today being erased. Right, now I was here not long ago, I had a group of some EU...
Can you just show us the cover of that?
Sure.
The Al-Aqsa Mosque.
Sure. So I was here not long ago with some EU officials who came for an off-the-record visit, and they asked me, they said, what do the Palestinian leadership, what do they think about the city of David? I said, they hate this place. They said, why? I said, well, it's very simple.
Contradicts there.
So the story that they've been telling for nearly a century now is that Israel's a colonial project. We're a bunch of occupiers, colonizers, thieves. We have no history in the land of Israel, and certainly not in Jerusalem. I said, what is the problem with that? The city of David. We are what you could call an inconvenient truth, because everywhere you dig in the city of David, you find antiquities, fancy words for old stuff dating back thousands of years, which show that Jerusalem's biblical heritage for Jews, for Christians, is not simply a matter of faith, but a matter of fact. But I saw they got uncomfortable. They didn't like that. I said, I get it. You want to separate the politics from the archaeology. Totally understand. I have a foolproof, foolproof way, though, how to do that. They said, okay, tell us, we're very interested. I said, you can put out whatever diplomatic initiatives you want, whatever peace plans you want. You want 1 state, 2 states, 3 states, no states, whatever you want. You could put out your proposals. You just have to do one small thing. They said, what's that? I said, all that has to happen is for the heads of the United Nations, for the heads of the European Union, for the heads of Palestinian leadership to simply acknowledge that the archaeology incontrovertibly shows that the Jewish people, and by extension Christians, have been in Jerusalem for thousands of years. That's it, and after that, do whatever you want. And they looked at me and they said, they'll never agree to that. I said, well, what do you want from us? Well, we're just uncovering the history, we're uncovering the heritage. This should not be political, it shouldn't be controversial, it shouldn't be right-wing, left-wing, religious, secular. This is just history. Here it is. But if you can't accept this history, which shows that we've been here for thousands of years, if that is...
Well, how does the saying go? Facts don't care about your feelings. It's facts. Just facts. And when people don't like facts and think that it's offensive, then they should be thrown to the bin with, I don't know, with lots of scorpions because they share the same IQ.
It's controversial. I said to them, well, there's really nothing else to talk about. If you can't acknowledge our basic history in this land, that we've been here for thousands of years, that we're not some colonial project, if we can't agree on that, well, then there's not a whole lot we're going to be able to work out, right? And that's the challenge here. And Josephus says in the year 70, the Romans are destroying Jerusalem. The temple atop the Temple Mount is in flames. The last Jews of Jerusalem are seeking refuge, hiding from the Romans, where? In the drainage channel beneath the pilgrimage road, which looks like this, right? And the Romans find out about it, and they come with sledgehammers, and they shatter the flagstones.
And that's what this is.
And they find 2,000 Jews hiding in the sewers, beneath our feet, beneath the pilgrimage road. Archaeologists find whole cooking pots, meaning the people were living there for days, for weeks, for months, until the Romans find them all and kill them all. These were the last days of Jerusalem in the year 70. Now, the Romans are so proud of their victory over Jerusalem that they mint a coin.
No, it's a very interesting claim from Alexander here. If Israel is God, so God is pure evil. I think there is no other explanation on why people who support Palestine and Islam, their biggest wish is to see the world destroyed. That's their biggest goal. Everything they do is to bring the end of the world because they hate him. They hate everything. They hate everything. To them, God, existence is evil, pure evil. So they do whatever they can to earn it. This is why we need to throw people like that to another pit. But they have, to believe it or not, better reasoning skills than the one with the scorpion. So they should be thrown into the pit with very toxic, venomous snakes. Because they have the IQ to actually acknowledge the fact that they hate the world and they want to see it destroyed.
Here is the Roman Emperor Vespasian, and in the year 71, they mint a coin that says Judea Capta. Judea, the name of the country, has been captured or defeated. The capital was Jerusalem. Jews are called Jews because Jews come from Judea. And you see a Roman legionnaire towering above a woman on her knees crying.
Alexander here, you don't need to be an Arab, sweetheart, to be mentally ill and to deserve a place with the snakes in a pit. You don't need to be an Arab. You don't even have to be a Muslim. You have to identify with them.
You could see how proud the Romans were of their victory of Jerusalem. Now, if you go to Rome today, you have the Arch of Titus. Now, Titus goes on to become Emperor of Rome. But before he's Emperor of Rome, he's the commander of the 10th Roman Legion, which destroys Jerusalem, which destroys the temple. And on the arch, you have the temple treasures being led out of Jerusalem into Rome. The Romans were so proud of defeating this country, of conquering it, of taking away all the identity, all the treasures, all the culture, that they celebrated it on coins, on arches. But in the years leading up to the destruction, there was a period known as the Great Revolt, the Great Jewish Revolt for freedom against the Roman occupation. And each year of the revolt, they're minting small bronze coins. And scholars have long wondered why. Bless you. Why were they minting these coins? Because the coins at that time had no monetary value. And if they really wanted to fight the Romans, what should they have used the metal for instead of minting worthless coins? To make what? To make weapons, right? So why are they minting these coins? So I want to share with you an answer that I find to be meaningful. But before I do, I want to show you one such coin. This coin here is 2,000 years old. This coin here goes back to the year 67. And it says on the coin, for the freedom of Zion, for the freedom of Jerusalem. That coin,
okay, hold it up to me.
That coin represented a hope, a wish, a dream, and a prayer that one day the Jewish people returned to Jerusalem as sovereign, that they would get their country back. Now, they probably thought it would take a few years, a few decades. They couldn't imagine it would be nearly 2,000 years before that would happen. But in the year 1958, on Israel's 10th anniversary, Israel mints its first commemorative medallion. But there's something strange about this medallion, because if you look closely at the medallion, what do you see here? They've minted
They've used the same
the Roman victory
Roman
coin.
victory
Now,
coin.
why would you mint a symbol of shame for your people? It doesn't make any sense until you flip it over. And when you flip it
And it
over,
shows the woman standing up.
now
and
it says Israel Liberata. Israel's been liberated.
So
the Roman
it
soldiers
goes from
died,
the Roman soldier over the woman to then showing the woman free of her baby.
right, and a man working the land
And
beside her.
a man building the land, planting.
And this was Israel's response to Rome, 2,000 years in the making.
It's like the longest time ever to wait to do the See who's got you now? Bitches. Like it's the longest time you can wait. Like, the last time, like, we'll see. Wait and see. Like that's the longest waiting time to like, see you now. Where is Rome now?
Okay.
And if you think about that small little coin, that hope, that wish, that dream, and that prayer, it took a lot longer than they thought it would. But here we are, 2,000 years later, because they never gave up on their ideals, on their principles, on their values, on their hopes, to one day return and restore their country. And that's what they did here, 2,000 years later. And so you go through hard times, but the secret of Jerusalem is, it says in the Bible that the righteous will be knocked down 7 times and get back up. The wicked fall once and stay down.
You're not telling us in 2,000 years we'll free Britain of the problems, right?
Gotta play the long game sometimes. So we're standing on the original steps, going back to the time of Jesus, and you see the size of the massive pool that would have been here 2,000 years ago. So whatever you feel as a Jew, as a Christian,
To be honest, it's like if you stand and say, ha 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 ha, not only that we outlived you, like, it's like, we're sorry now kind of situation. You guys now worship a Jew. A Jew is your God. Listen, this is funny. Too much. If you look at it like from a cynical, like, got your perspective and you narrow it down, it's like, who's your God now? Not only like we're still standing, it's like you also worship a Jew, which is amazing. Like you literally made the center of Rome a place to worship a Jew. When you put things like, if you spell them out, it's insanity.
whatever you believe happened here at the Pool of Siloam, this is where it was. And this was the beginning of the pilgrimage journey. You'd come here, you'd immerse
It's mad
yourself.
that they've just found this.
It's being excavated as we speak. This is it, right? So we're excavating the pool, we're excavating the road. We're bringing this one of the most significant half miles in all of civilization, which has shaped civilization as we know it today, whether the United States, Israel, parts of Europe.
And everything here, as we say, shaped the road so that the Romans would worship a Jew as payback. Vengeance is served very, very interestingly, actually, like very interesting.
This is the bedrock of the heritage and values that have shaped the world for billions of people. And we're bringing it back over here, bringing it back to life so that people will be able to come and connect with the roots of their identity, of their faith, a place that has a great deal of meaning. And I was asked once, standing over here by a journalist, she said, you know, you've spoken a lot about the Bible. Do you actually believe that all these Bible stories, they're true, they really happened? And I said, it actually doesn't matter what I believe, because there's no place in the world more than Jerusalem, where not for millions, but billions of people wake up every day and they look to Jerusalem as a source of hope, meaning, faith, purpose, identity, inspiration, more than New York, Rome, London, Moscow, Paris, Riyadh. They look to Jerusalem. And so if you want to understand the world today, past, present, and also future, you need to understand Jerusalem. And Jerusalem is the city of David. And so what we've seen...
Yes. Beautifully said. I tried to send Super Chat and guidance. You can go to Buy Me Coffee. I'll go check Buy Me Coffee to see if anyone leaves a message there. Thank you for your support. So if anyone has an issue supporting me, then yeah, Buy Me Coffee. That would do. Thank you so much.
Today, in our short time together, is a small amount of what's been unearthed here, what we're bringing back for people to connect with here in the city of David. There's a lot more to see, and even more that's being uncovered. And so I'll end with the hope, prayer, and blessing that we've been saying for nearly 2,000 years, which is next year in Jerusalem. And hopefully you can take the spirit of this place and bring it back home with you.
Thank you. You're a brilliant speaker. Even just off that brief explanation, where you've got a coin from 2,000 years ago talking about when Jews will be free again in Jerusalem, and then you can understand the importance of the history to their land and the history of them coming back to their land when they've been driven out so many times. But yeah, fascinating.
Yes. Like, I think Jews can outdo anyone with obsession. It says love it so much, like just showing the simple reality on the ground. You know, you touch ground. He came here to touch grass, which we don't have a lot of here in the desert, but to touch the sand, right? To touch the stones, to touch the people, this is like so beautiful to see, honestly, so pretty to see. Right, so I'm gonna show the listing, which is Ohana, and then I'm gonna go and show
Their goal
parts
is really
that I thought were interesting from the Tommy Robinson conference.
to dominate.
Oh,
This
oops, 1 second.
is the nature of their version of Islam, to dominate the world, to have everyone under their boots. And this is what we oppose.
Yes, so thank you for the invite here as well.
Okay, I don't have my tea, but I kind of want to spill some tea anyway. So Amir Ohana, the Speaker of the Knesset, part of the Conservative Party. If I'm not mistaken, and if I am mistaken, then please write it down in the comments. But I think he's gay. He's like, you know, just out of the closet gay person, which is not very important for his role. He's doing a great job. But I thought maybe I'd share with you the tea that people don't usually share with, you know, that are irrelevant for his work, but it's funny. Yeah.
Welcome, Tommy. Welcome to the Knesset. Welcome to Jerusalem.
It's an honor to be here.
I hope you get as much love here as you get at the market and at the streets. I've seen it.
I've had a fabulous time so far in Israel.
Yeah,
a fabulous
they
time.
love you.
Can we understand, from your point of view, you're a member of the government within Israel, how do you feel about the European nations, France, Britain, with their
All right, 1 second. Smash the like, everyone. Thank you, Investory, for reminding everyone. Smash the like.
way they've treated Israel since the start of October 7th?
The leaders of those countries, I see them as the modern time appeasers, trying to feed the crocodile, expecting it to eat them last. This is not what you do with aggressors. What you need is to fight, fight, fight. As President Trump said after the attempt on his life. Fight, fight, fight. That's what you do. And this is what we have been doing ever since October 7th. Fighting to release our hostages. Gladly, all the living ones came back to their families. Fighting to restore security, to bring the thousands of displaced civilians back to their communities safely. And far from being a local battle, this is a global struggle. This is how we see it. And this is why I think you are so much loved here in Israel, because you see it too. A battle between the forces of radicalism and extremism and fundamentalism and those of freedom and liberty and democracy, which is what Israel represents in our region. This is what we are fighting for. And this is what Hamas came after on October 7th. This is what each and every one of the Ayatollah regimes of Iran proxies did since October 7th. But with the help of God and our good friends and our holy soldiers risking their lives daily, we prevailed.
Can we, so a British audience can understand this, because we talk about Hamas. It's not just Hamas though, is it? So where we have Israel on a map, you have Hamas, Gaza border, but you also have Hezbollah on another border. you have the Houthis. So what's it like to
The
be
Shiite militias,
the
in
Shiite
Iraq,
militias? What's the population?
and of course Iran.
What's the population of Israel?
You know, for American visitors, we always say Israel is the size of New Jersey. It's true. But having visited Chicago a few years ago, observing, have you ever been to the Chicago?
No.
No. So, on top of one of the most beautiful apartments in Chicago, I've seen Lake Michigan, which is one of 5 lakes, and not the largest one, by the way. And it is only 3 times the size of Israel. This is how tiny this country is with the population.
Like, I don't know why Israelis say it and don't understand that, like, the only possible conclusion here is that we have to make Israel, like, what is it? Something to be proud of? I'm not proud of that. I think Israel should be bigger. I don't understand, like, why Jews don't, like, understand, like, that is the only logical conclusion here when you say something like that, is to understand that we should expand, like Trump. Trump has like very straightforward logic. It's like small should be bigger. I agree. Israelis, for some reason, like sometimes lack some basic logic.
Of 10 million, surrounded by 21 Arab nations, mostly hostile towards us, and 54 Muslim countries, still most of which hostile towards Israel. But gladly we have managed to prove that peace could be achieved through strength. And I was fortunate to be a minister in the government that signed the Abraham Accords with 4 Arab countries. 2.5 years ago, I had the fortune to become the first speaker of the Knesset to be invited officially to speak in a parliament of a Muslim country. That was Morocco, by the way, the country where both my parents were born and raised. And we do have a way to continue and expand the circle of peace. We need to be strong. We need to be proud of our heritage and who we are. And we must not be appeasers towards aggression.
What do you think, from the outside in? You've obviously lived in Israel. You understand what it's like to be surrounded by jihad and have your culture, your identity, and your very existence in danger. Looking at Europe and the changing face of Europe, all the European nations, the Western European nations, certainly France, Britain, Sweden, these countries. What do you think the future looks like for us in countries like Europe, where we still have the Muslim Brotherhood, we have terrorist organisations, extremist organisations that are banned in most Arab nations, active and have bases in our countries, and the demographical change? What do you think, looking out with...
What? I think, Bry, so you had committed a lot of logical fallacies here. Well, Rebecca just explained why those Arab nations are hostile, because they want military expand into their territory and use American might to do so. So anyway, I was explaining that I think the Israelis are stupid for not wanting to expand, and the Arabs know it very well. I have the same position as I do. So first of all, that is one fallacy. They don't have the intelligence or the thought that Israel is actually trying to do that. So that is one stupid conclusion making that you made just because one Israeli girl is saying that. Yeah. And then again, that doesn't explain anything, because the Arabs are just bloodthirsty animals. And when I say animals, I mean they're not animals. Animals are not as disgusting as they are. So it has nothing to do with it, sweetheart. There is if we are here or not here, it doesn't make them less of monstrous savages in their nature and the way they behave in general. So that's not, they are hostile because they are hostile. Every place they go to, they make it into a hostile desert, because they bring the hostility that makes hostile deserts with them. And if it weren't for British and Western intervention in the area, they would have all went extinct a long time ago. But then the UK and the French and everyone had to save them from dying, unfortunately. Now they're gonna die anyway, but in a much more brutal way, because they are a desert hostile people that bring hostility and desert to wherever they go. And Mother Earth cannot sustain that kind of disgustingness on it for long.
Leaders like Keir Starmer, leaders like Macron, what do you think the future looks like for us? And for the, because when I say us as not as non-Muslims, but also the Jews that are left in these countries.
Well, as you said, it depends on your leadership. Will your leadership maintain the European, the Judeo-Christian values and the Western way of life that Europe enjoyed for so many years and the freedoms that we share? Or will they cave in?
So Robin Yahud is saying, Ari, Pakistan was almost same year as Israel and no one questions their existence. I question Pakistan existence a lot. So somebody does. But yeah, I also question all the existence of all the Arab nations as well. So I'm just saying that, like, I'm a one person, but you guys can join me and then we're going to be more than one person. And maybe we're going to, like, bring that mindset, you know, just infect our surroundings. And when we say it out loud, then everyone around will be like, oh, we can say that. And then we're going to discover that the silent majority, what they really think.
Because when the immigrants come in small numbers, they seek to assimilate. When they come in large numbers, they seek to dominate. The question is, who's stronger? Who will win? And will the Europeans manage to unite, to stand against the forces of radicalism and extremism and fundamentalism? 80 years ago, we have lost 6 million of our people.
You have
6 million of our people.
By the way, losing 6 million of your people, I think it gives you permission to roast Europe for the rest of Europe's existence, which doesn't seem like it's going to be much longer, honestly. So I might as well take this opportunity to roast Europe as much as I can, you know, when it still exists. After they exist, that's not roasting. You know, in Judaism, we have this concept that after something dies, we are supposed to say nice things about it or like say nothing at all. So I want to roast them while there's kind of, even though it's kind of cruel to roast things that are actually literally like just dying on the floor. And I also need to remember that there were like a few righteous people that were in Europe and they're worth fighting for. So there is that. But, you know, I'm not like an ideal Jew. I'm a very average, mediocre, like not so not so elevated above the goys kind of Jew. I'm one of you guys and I just want to roast Europe. Well, I can, because if it doesn't exist, there is nothing to roast, obviously.
Men, women, children, elders. We are a people that remembers. We don't forget. What you see here on my desk, this book, very large one, a very heavy one.
Charcoal, I don't understand why are you complaining, okay? You said, yeah, why are you punishing Palestinians to go have your state in Germany? Germany is such a better real estate than Israel, and all the Palestinians went there. So what are you crying? You got a better deal out of it. We got a piece of shit desert land that if you live on it, then it's literally absolutely nothing. And nobody would live here because it's going to be shit. But now you have like a lot of forests to burn, and there is actually rain that would try to fight back your tendency to burn down everything. So you're going to have way much time, like way longer time to ruin the ecosystem in Germany and everything like that. You got a better deal. Like instead of like, say thank you, you little piece of shit, be grateful. Thank you.
Contains only one word. Very small, very tiny, almost invisible, only one word.
And for the record, anyone wondering, the the actual Palestinian population was very, very small. Most of them were economic immigrants that followed around where they followed the Jews, so that because the Jews came and created workspaces and workplaces, so all the Arabs came, and plus they came also to eliminate the Jews. They weren't originally there to be considered a Palestinian. The only condition was that you would reside in the land for 2 years. And most of them came specifically for the purpose of either destroying Israel or to make money, because the Jews came and create, like when Jews are dominating, then there are suddenly workplaces. But in general, like if you literally trace the number of people that lived in the entirety of Israel before, it was nothing. It was nothing. So it's just so you Germans know that we are not responsible for the shit show that your country is now. Okay, you had turned every Arab into Palestinian by embracing Palestinianism. So it's your bullshit that you're paying for right now. Just saying.
And that word is Jew. It's written here 6 million times. And when you hold it, and you realize that every line represents your classroom. Every few lines, the whole school. Every page is a village. Every few pages, a town. It is only then that you realize what we, the Jewish people, have lost during the Holocaust, and what it is that we fight for in our one and only Jewish state in our country.
Yes.
If you're speaking now to patriots, because there is patriots are uniting across Europe.
We're also fighting because, like, if it wasn't for the Jews, like 25% of the science was gonna go to, like, they're not gonna be exist. So imagine that eliminating just the Jews would mean that the productivity of the humanity in general would drop like so much, which is insane. And you can drop all the Muslims, and it's not gonna be that much of an impact. There's gonna be way less embezzlement going on. To this day, right? To this day, when it comes to Turing awards, like 50% are Jewish. So, and not only that, it's not decreasing the percentage of Jews that, like the overrepresentation of Jews in the science fields and like achievements, it's actually increasing because the West is turned into zombified. So the Jews that literally take a bigger part of everything. So I'm just saying that, like, it's like we're fighting for like prosperity, good life, good quality of life, and you fight to burn down Earth, basically. So yeah, yeah, exactly, Jan. Jan, another Jewish number. Exactly. So I see. I don't understand the problem. People who want humanity to prosper, like, yeah, they're gonna side with the Jews, and I have absolutely no. I'm not gonna be the one. Like, in fact, I am very unhappy. Every time that pro-Palestine says, "Oh, Jew does this and that," and there is a genocide, all I think is that, it would have been such a great service to humanity if all the bullshit you spew were true. It would have been better for humanity in general, Oh well.
Mass immigration.
This is why I don't like denying or arguing with people like Israel is not committing a genocide. I'm not happy with it. I want to leave that option open because I think it's the right thing to do. Seriously, like, have you looked at the mirror? You guys like rape everything that you see. Inanimate objects, animals. You know what people that are doing the watch jobs on the borders see? What kind of abusive rapes of animals, babies, and everything they see? They watch when they have to guard the borders. You know what kind of behavior they see? And it's like, I'm sorry. I'm a minority right now, so you're lucky. but I don't think I'm not proud of that. I'm not going to be proud of, oh, Israel is protect the civilians. Did you see the civilians there? Why am I supposed to be proud of that? I'm not proud of that. I'm ashamed. I'm never going to say Israel is not committing a genocide because I'm ashamed of it, that we're not. You know, I wish we had the brain to do that, to do this beautiful act of service for humanity.
If you're speaking to patriots and the British public, why is your fight here in the state of Israel? Why is it important to us in mainland Europe?
We are the last front. If we lose, God forbid,
Yeah. So imagine
you have
like
to be very naive.
So imagine like how amazing it would be if not only like that we would be like a neutral fortress that blocking the next like the biggest wave of insanity that you could get. Imagine how beautiful it would have been if we also eliminated the threat properly. I don't know, like for as far as I'm concerned, every European that doesn't go to the street and say go Israel, like why, like the protest should be, why is there no genocide? Why is there no genocide? Why is there no, that's what should be the protest, not genocide. No, the protest should be like the counter protest, like there should be one, you know? But and then I would say, listen. With the Jews, like we don't have the history, we don't have the tools. We are good with science, but for some reason we fell in that area. So we can invite the Germans. They're the experts, you know, the Europeans, the Romans, right? They're all experts. All of the European nations have like extensive like knowledge and understanding how to commit a genocide properly. If you ask like what the you know the Brits like the way the Native American population in North America disappeared, which is amazing. Like you guys are the experts. So I think that you need to understand what's better. And also like sometimes, okay, a person or a people, they are retarded, like the Jews, right? They appear smart, but they are also very, very retarded. And I think that it's also important to acknowledge that we are like retarded. We're good with science, retarded in a lot of different other elements of life. So like I would welcome the experts, you know, in that sense. But yeah, the Turks. What do you think if they take the Turks? If Trump is given the Turks to Gaza, if we reach that stage, they're gonna genocide all the Arabs. There are gonna be no more Arabs. They're gonna say, oh, they were all Hamas, and they're gonna kill them. But they are animals themselves that also, like, you know, in the same category. So that's the problem here. Doesn't solve a problem. It's like you just replace one kind of sickness with another. So here's what I'm saying. So I think every day that the Europeans are not going out and say like we support Israel, bullshit. We don't need your support, Israel. Think about yourself. What you need is to make sure that there are no immigrants that would come to your country, and there is a very good way to ensure that no immigrants would come to your country. And it's even better than drowning the boats. It's just like going and making sure that there would be no one to board on the boat, you know, on the boats. So, and you are the experts. Like there isn't an European nation that is not expert in doing that kind of job. So, you know, and you know, the Jews are retarded when it comes to it, just saying. So I'm helping you out here.
To think that the crocodile will have no more hunger. You have to be very stupid not to realize that the goal of these people, of the terror organizations.
Oh my God! Look at Amir Ohana here. Thank you for further explaining the point I was just making. Of course, he's not gonna say, "Hey, Germans, come use your expertise for good for once." It's the Dutch is too. The Dutch are very good at it too. The Dutch are amazing. Like the Dutch could also very much. Like we give you water technology and shit, and like crypto technologies, and like we like, you know, and you know, the airport technology and shit. You should come and give your technology as well. You know, your expertise, which is taking care of problematic populations.
across Europe on these mass immigration issues. If you were speaking to patriots and the British public, why is your fight here in the State of Israel? Why is it important to us in mainland Europe?
We are the last front.
Yes, we are savages. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I hope that you're ready and you have lube for the day that would come. It just, right now we're working on the psychological element, right? The Jews are very nice in nature, but we're working on it. We're working on it. At some point we're gonna, you know, even I can tap into my animalistic self. I believe that other Jews would be able to too, if triggered enough by the Arabs. You know, sometimes you learn from your neighbors. That's the thing. When your neighbors are savages and in like monsters, then sometimes like it's hard to be in that neighborhood and not get a little bit affected. So I feel like since Jews have such a high immunity and resistance to that, unfortunately, they would probably just be just enough. But I say buy lube.
If we lose, God forbid, you have to be very naive to think that the crocodile will have no more hunger. You have to be very stupid not to realize that the goal of these people, of the terror organizations,
they don't even eat because they're hungry. Like you say, if the Arabs were a crocodile, it wouldn't be a crocodile that you feed it, just it wouldn't eat you. You throw things at it, and then it's not hungry, right? It just ate plenty of like whatever you throw at him. So it just like cuts and dices the whatever you throw it, like, and fucks it. And then I'm sorry for the language. I really apologize for using that word, like, but you know, and then like puts nails into different parts of whatever kind of thing that you gave it to me. And then when it's completely butchered, unrecognizable, and basically the only way that, like, you know, you can understand what was the thing that it touched before is by like getting like the layers out of the wall, because it's smeared all over after it's finished with it, and it doesn't even eat it. It's not as for food. This is what it would look like if they were a crocodile.
their goal is really to dominate. This is the nature of their version of Islam, to dominate the world, to have everyone under their boots. And this is what we oppose.
So it's not just to dominate Israel.
Okay, so what I described is their version of Islam, and what Amir Ohana here is describing is just general Islam. So Amir Ohana says, like, that's their version of Islam. No, that's Islam. But what I described is their version, right? So, yeah, just making it clear, right? You don't need to keep playing with until you need to scrape the things out of the layers of the wall to try to understand to find the DNA of whatever they played with, right? After they did everything possible that you could do to a body before and after it died. That kind of meticulousness, that kind of in-depth, there is nothing that is possible to do that they don't want to do kind of work, which is very it's very that's their version of Islam. What Mr. Ohana here described is every version of Islam.
Saying is the Caliphate, Hezbollah, Hamas, they're quite open about this. This isn't your opinion. The organizations.
Well, Muammar Gaddafi, the late ruler of Libya, said we shall conquer Europe without a single shot. And this is what we see these days in the streets of London, in the streets of Rome, in the streets of Paris. I need to stand up. You need to stand up against this. And you do that very much better than others.
I think you've probably answered this, but Donald Trump has been a very loyal and very good friend to the state of Israel.
Indeed.
Why? What's the difference between Donald Trump and what's the difference the United States of America, and what's the difference between Macron, Keir Starmer, and these other leaders?
First of all,
I think, you know what? I think when you ask that, I have a theory. I think Trump wants, like, I think Trump has a better understanding of history. And Trump is like, you know what? I don't want, like, all those leaders, Bush, Keir, Macron, if they're gonna be studied at all, probably they're not gonna be even studied. They're gonna be like, their names are gonna come up as like, what happens when you put like the most impotent, incompetent, unfunctioning, retarded people as your leaders, right? So this is the only way that their name would come up in history. Trump, I think what might drive him as well is like that he doesn't want to be in that list. So he thought like, must be something different that I would do to not get into that list, because everyone is getting there, Bush included. Like there isn't an American president that doesn't, like in recent history, that doesn't belong to that list, if we're being honest, right? With like when history unfolds and people look back. So Trump doesn't want to be in that list. So I think that's a good reason to act differently.
Paul, and I'm not going to be very diplomatic, he has balls.
Okay.
Okay?
He's a man.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. You see. So they were all ballless, and he doesn't want to be written in history as like, you know, this is not how he wants to be commemorated. Oh, we had a spineless leader and another spineless leader, and like, what was their names? God knows.
He has what it takes to confront evil, to confront tyranny. And he's willing to fight. He's a fighter. And he sees the world, and he sees, I think he has been one of the greatest leaders, not only to America, but to the free world. And I expect that the relations between Israel and America will only grow stronger. We have a great friendship between the two peoples. And I think it's a great blessing to the free world, because these are two nations willing to fight for freedom. This is what America stands for. This is what Israel stands for. And I hope that many leaders will follow that path in the UK, in Paris, throughout Europe, throughout the world, Australia, Canada.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Yes.
As a self-certified biologist, I can tell you, like, people don't just grow balls out of nowhere. I said it as a self-appointed biologist expert. So I don't think that would happen. So you need to find people that have them already. And like, I don't say it doesn't have to be a male. It can be also female, right? It's like, it doesn't discriminate. Like there's some, like, just like not having them doesn't discriminate for some reason.
This is my hope, that we will see a change.
A new generation of leaders.
Yes.
Yeah, new generation.
And we still have time.
Strong men and women. Don't be a don't be a misogynist, sir. Seriously. I mean, one grain of rice can make the difference. And believe me, having Elizabeth as the Queen of England made a lot of difference, because she made it an empire. Colin Walton, thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Colin, for your support here. Okay, let's go and watch. And I hope I can find it fast, because I think it's going to be hard. Thank you, Niall Bunny, for saying I'm a biologist, and I confirm this. Thank you. All right. I hope I find it. I hope it's not going to be too difficult. Okay. All right. So I kind of want to skip to the end here. There was a part with a very interesting, like, it's Tommy wasn't there, but it's like the Israelis were. Okay, so there was this one leftist that came to be annoying, and everybody, I swear, he annoyed everyone so much. I was like, oh, it's going to be a get hit. Are the people going to beat him? And I was like, okay, don't beat him, but nobody liked him there. But this is not actually the interesting part that I thought was interesting. Where is the interesting part? Maybe I try, okay, because, okay, I think maybe this part. Or maybe it was before, but we'll try to find it.
And then when that failed, he tried to trip up the minister to say, do you support everything he said tonight? And what was the big issue? What was the big issue? Is that, my goodness, he said that the Jewish Board of Deputies were no good. Well, as a Jew, as a past Jew,
Oh my God, so many people came up and talked shit about the ADL and the whatever the British version of it is. Like they talk, like, oh, here. This one.
How are they? Did you agree with what Tommy Robinson said about it tonight?
I now live in Israel. Not the only reason. One of the reasons I moved to Israel is I was so sick and fed up of our Jewish communal institutions.
I think I got another anti-Semite.
That was one of the reasons I immigrated to Israel last year.
He's another anti-Semite. Mate, you haven't give me one thing of substance, I'll get you up there with Tommy. One thing. Mate, you're a lying smear artist.
They're all Labour Party officials.
You absolutely are. You're a liar. You brought up an article from something he did.
I can't stand leftists. They make so much noise and they make so many people like pay attention to them, and they're just the one person in the room. There needs to be like something that could be done with that. I don't think he should have the right to speak, right? But like, that's not speech. That's just like I don't know. It's like it's just like the need to be annoying. You know what I'm saying?
Is he an anti-Semite? Is he an anti-Semite?
I moved to Israel because I was so fed up with the Jewish community. Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter.
You're the problem. You're the problem for British Jews.
And they wouldn't even listen to the comeback, right? This person lived in the UK and had to leave it because he worked for the boards of evilness, and fled because they were pieces of shit, and you had to leave the country. So.
Like you.
Oh my God, Amichai. I know. I'm so sad, and I'm so sad because I know that how can my eyes shine without tea? I want my tea. Don't remind me of my in the time of grievance, my pain.
You're the problem. You're the problem for British Jews. People like you.
I was on the board of deputies, and I could tell you, everyone.
It's a mistake, but it is the problem. I don't look. I'm disagreeing passionately.
The people on the board of deputies, they're rich, middle class. People don't work in part. They're mainly Reform Jews, not Orthodox Jews, and they're obsessed with being like in the highest levels of British society. They want to be in the House of Lords. They want, preferably for the Labour Party. They're all Labour Party officials. They want to get MBEs and OBEs, and the way to do that is not to cozy up to someone like Tommy Robinson. Because if you cozy up to Tommy Robinson, you're not going to get an MBE.
You'll get an invite to Luton Hotel.
So they have to do interfaith events with Muslims. So the board of deputies, they push for mass immigration. They
want us to come out, but I just want to get your reaction. I just want to ask you, Minister, were you surprised by the turnout here tonight? Were you happy with the event?
But to be surprised, like this is not exactly, that is not what the part that I wanted to highlight. I mean, that is good too. And I think there was somebody in the beginning that talked shit about the ADL. Anyway.
Yeah, I've been following them for years, and I love them, and I love you, Avi. You're great.
Good to see you in person. Clearly, in Europe, the birth rates of the European population are decreasing. Sorry,
I managed to ask him. Case in point, he talked about Luton and communities there in England where 25 to like 30% of the male are rapists. At some point, it will not be enough to stop the boats. We'll have to send people back. I'm not saying anyone, but I'm saying if a child, for example, grew up in a community where 20 to 30% of the people tend to rape, You are not going to solve. You're not going to solve. Let me finish, please. You are not going to solve the problem without changing the mind of the public. Here, it's all said and well. We are about 2,500 people. You have to change the minds of the public. Here in Israel, we didn't manage to open the gates, even of Gaza, to people who wanted to live out like freely. Who wanted to. How are we going to change the minds of the public, of the EU, of the UN, of telling people, okay, it's not going to be compatible. Islam and Western values are not compatible. Let those people leave. How do we normalize the idea that we have to tell some communities it's not going to be okay? Take $30,000, live to Kenya, live to I don't know, Bangladesh, etc. I don't know. Maybe I'm not trying to invoke violence. What I'm trying to say is, what is a viable way to change the mind of the public, of the 750 million people in Europe?
I would say, forget about the point, the end point that you're trying to make there to repatriate the solution. The fact that Tommy Robinson is now getting 1 million at least people on the street standing for these issues, I think the hearts and minds of the average person is actually shifting. That's the truth. And I've seen it because I was almost a decade ago standing by Tommy when I was condemned almost broadly by the Jewish community, by the leadership, absolutely, but even by most of the community. Whereas today, hearts and minds in the Jewish community, but also in the wider community, has also opened up to someone like Tommy Robinson.
I respect you, my friend, but we are not going to solve this problem
I don't have the answer
without
for
sending violent back.
I don't argue. You're not going to get an
So
argument.
this part is like, I don't understand this. Why you just talking? Like, like you can see the Israelis are like, who are you kidding? Like, who are you kidding? Like,
Let me get a little bit of So I think you need to do what Trump's doing right now and actually sending people back. Anybody who's there illegally, send them back. Anybody who commits a violent crime, send them back. Anybody who rapes a child, castrate them. Whatever, send them back. Whatever you need to do, just get them out of your community. They're dangerous people that are overrunning all of Western society, and if we don't act now, it's going to get much, much worse.
Well,
it might sound drastic, but it's what can you do? It's a war.
Listen.
They're literally fighting a war against us.
Listen, I grew up in Britain in the 70s, okay? I'm English, I also ended up here, I'm also Jewish, and long, complicated story. And I've been supporting Tommy for the past 7 years, so I'm really thrilled to sort of see him and meet you at last. But I agree, we have to just stand up and say this is nonsense. You know, I'm a teacher. Any classroom, you deal with bullies. You don't say, oh, well, you can look after that bit of the classroom and you can make a mess of it. No, you tell them exactly, this is my classroom, you get out, you toe the line or you get out. Britain is my country. And I feel very, very angry about the whole situation I've watched happening from afar. I feel very angry that I daren't even visit England because I'm scared of being arrested, because I dare to actually speak my mind and speak freely, as is my right that I grew up with. We need in some way, we can't go back, but we need to resurrect the good old-fashioned free speech and good old-fashioned common sense.
Well
that's
said.
What it is.
There you go.
That's one thing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hi. So first of all, bloody pleasure to meet you. Watch you all the time on YouTube. Amazing. I served in the IDF, right? And even years later, I go back to the UK every so often to visit family. It's genuinely got to a point where it's like you're so afraid to go because you don't know what's going to happen. I like talking to people. I'm an extrovert. I talk to everybody. But the last couple of times I've been back, and it's been during the war, there's been so much hate that you literally do not know who is, going to even maybe take your side, right? So do you think there's a chance that people who literally just watch TikTok nowadays and YouTube, you think there's ever a chance they'll actually think, hold on, there's two sides to every story, maybe we're wrong?
Bro, you're boring.
Grant Jewish who came to Israel on
blah, blah, blah.
We've seen that with so many issues.
Blah, blah, blah.
I want you to ask him a question.
I think there was more.
Why people are not coming out to face the hate marches in the UK?
They do, though.
No, they don't. They don't come out. I'm Stop the Hate. I'm part of Stop the Hate and now I Fight UK. Okay? We are the only group that stands in front of the marches. Why aren't Tommy's people coming in front of the marches?
Look, I don't know.
But that's a good question.
I don't think he wants to encourage people to go and fight because there it's a different thing.
Nobody wants to fight. We want a counter.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know how to say it, but like, I don't know what the Brits think that you can solve it via elections and talking. You are past elections and talking, sweethearts. So does anyone know when Rebecca's Understanding Humanity course starts? So I want to start another round in December. So you can sign up now and it will be in December. The details are in the link. Yes. So, and I think there was some base stuff in the beginning, but there was a lot of like people booing the mainstream media that came from England too. But anyway, basically the Israelis are trying to very politely explain that first of all, thank you, Govan, for gifting membership. And Spooky Shana, yes, based Israelis. The Israelis are trying to the best ability to explain to the Brits that sweethearts, you need a police force and to get some people out. You know, here's the thing. I need to explain. Okay, so why do you give money to the country that accepts the people? So the people that get that, you know, the third country takes. So the third country takes and they review them. They do a proper job, right? So you have to pay them to the proper job. And then they need the enough money to, you know, get rid of the body, if that's what needs to be done. So you just, so it's just something that the West love doing in general. Is that okay? If we don't want to pollute, let's move all the industries outside of our country, and they pollute, but we feel like we don't, right? So we're gonna do the stupid thing of taking our industries out of our countries and giving it to other countries that they can continue polluting while we don't. So we feel good about ourselves. So the deportation thing is like, you can trust the countries that would agree to that, to, you know, do the proper check and everything like that. And then, you know, just enough money to know what. So here's the thing. If they find out that the person that was brought in is useful to society, amazing, right? That is like a good investment to have. And then if they find out that not, they just need enough to get, you know, to for the whatever way they take care of bodies, you know. So that's the kind of like, this is and then like you know, this is how you sell, how you deport people. Like this is how you convince countries to get those people. You know, it's like the good old, that would work. You know, I'm just saying, I'm helping you out here. All right, everybody. Good night. Thank you so much for being here. I have so much fun following Tommy and what he's doing here. So I'm probably gonna do another live like that because I love it. He's doing such a good job. It's amazing, and I love seeing people given space to real like mainstream Israelis to finally speak up their minds. Thank you. And again, like trying to be polite about it, you know. All right, everybody. Good night.